the other side for Gen.G, it was a slow start for a couple of members on that squad. Guiman, he didn't have the best of performances, but once again on the Omen that has been so heavily contested, so heavily desired across every single team playing in this tournament. I think Omen has like, what's it, a 97% pick rate or something obscene like that? 98. Sorry. My apologies.
Yeah, sorry, yeah.
Just a bit off.
Check your
But
stats.
Listen, what we need, what Gen.G need is, Guiman needs to have a better game. He absolutely does. It looks like they're going to be starting off, Envy is, on the defending side. We'll see what Gen.G can do here as they thought about playing B, and it looks like they're going to back off.
Get that orb early. You definitely want to see MkaeL with those Hunter's Furies. They didn't have a Sova last time. You don't normally bring a Sova on split. But moving into the map at hand, both teams boast a more comfortable win percentage on the defensive side. So expect Envy to have a phenomenal half. However, if Gen.G can find themselves in like a 6-6 or a 7-5 with Envy leading by 2, that's going to really bode well for them moving into the second half when they will be on the defensive side. But it all starts with the pistol, which now looks to be boiling up to be an A-site hit.
Always insane. Now we see that the overlay come back up. Again, a reminder that Gen.G just dropped their first map the entire tournament. Now they're fighting for their lives as they find themselves on series point down 1-0 in this best of 3. Looks like they're going to try to hit onto A. They still have personnel. Gen.G is a little bit weaker. You saw huynh took a good bit of damage, but with 30 seconds left on the clock, they have, for all intents and purposes, committed onto this site. But it's not hot and heavy. It's not aggressive. They're doing so quietly now, and we know that they're there. And Shawn from the side is able to get one. It is going to get traded out, however, as Envy mow through them. It's going to drop down to a 3v2. Gen.G,
10 seconds left.
Gen.G needs to get the spike down soon.
Yeah, it's so unfortunate there for MkaeL. Down to one final player. Player one is going to start to push in. He's jumping out of the smoke. Almost finds that pick onto crashies. But that is a player that we didn't talk too much about in the stats page. Caboose, Food, mummAy all had fantastic games. But crashies definitely put on a performance as well on split. And we're seeing a 4K to start. He's likely going to lock and load with a Phantom. We'll see what he ends up buying. The Ares instead, but totally understandable for the Sova. He's just going to spray through the wall. You want those early potential picks to go your way. Sometimes successful, sometimes not, but still worth trying and dissuading the opposition from getting those ult orbs. Gen.G on the opposite side, of course, Pistols online, are going to be looking for maybe a mid-round catwalk play, or are going to be working their way up through the middle. We'll see what they end up working with.
That's now the third pistol round that Envy wins, so we'll keep track of that as the series goes on. But Simo, I think you made a really good point. Even if Gen.G does not go towards B, having that weapon there dissuades the push, and it forces really Gen.G to be binary in their attacking side. They can only go to A, or only, well, I guess that doesn't make it binary if they have 2 options. they can also push through mid, but it eliminates something on the map, and it forces Gen.G to be a bit less dimensional than they would like.
Yeah, it's hexadecimal. That's the word that you're looking for.
Yes.
Multiple options, as we see. Envy have multiple options for dispatching there on the site, but guess who's there? Finesse holding down. This is actually looking not too shabby here for Gen.G. Usually on a round like this for the conversion, you want at least 3 members alive so that the economy balances out in the round to follow. But I think for the last player remaining here, he's going to be in a little bit of a tougher spot. We talked a little bit about clutches. Gen.G, in the hands of MkaeL, he's lost every single clutch in the tournament that he's been put in. Every single 1v many scenario, MkaeL has lost those. So unfortunate that he was the last one standing. But still, they've made it hurt up against Envy. They took out enough players to make that money hurt.
And look, in a 1v2 situation like that, it's unlikely that he wins that. But there is a silver lining if he's able to get the spike down. But the dart actually revealed him. You saw it forced him to delay. He tried taking out the Spectre. Whoops, that sucks. No bullets in that bad boy. Switch over to the Sheriff. By the time he's cleared out the dart, the reinforcements of Envy have already arrived. So again, it was likely that he loses that anyway, but he could have had some more credits go in their pockets. Unfortunately, not able to convert. Very well played by Envy here.
Now that we see the gun round, of course, online for Envy, we'll see how they end up playing it. Food with an aggressive push forward does have the support from crashies, but they back away. Shock Dart trying to lead their escape. And Gen.G looking towards this A site for a late round hit. They're a little bit split. Got membership on both sides trying to get involved, but now as they start to push in, Paranoia will stop them, and they've stopped by the smoke as well. So Gen.G looking for this A site still, may decide to back away, decide maybe they want to go towards the catwalk. They have membership towards the middle, working their way through. They can do a late round root market hit that'll surprise Envy, I think, considering they don't have a lot of utility there.
They also know at this point that nobody has pushed in through B. You saw PL1 was over there for a while. There's utility there as well, so you know there's no aggressive play coming from that side of the map. But it looks like for now, Envy still heavily mulling over the thought of hitting onto this A site.
30 seconds left.
Here we go. The Hunter's Fury has been used from MkaeL, trying to clear some room, but Gen.G is able to take care of it. It wasn't with the ult, but it was actually with the guns. Guimon, Shawn, and player one are able to get one apiece, and Envy is just down to scraps. As far as personnel goes, it looks like Gen.G's going to be able to get the spike down onto A with relative ease. Now the question left to be answered is, for Envy, do you even go for this? Do you try to defuse, or do you just try to get a couple of picks and call it what it is?
That seems to be the case, considering crashies alongside Food are playing a little bit more passive, save those weapons. They have a Phantom, yeah. You don't want that to fall apart, considering you're moving into that next round with a one round loss bonus reset. You're down to 1900, and you want to save as much as you can. So good that they at least found a pick, didn't make it a flawless victory here for Gen.G. But at least they find that round. And I mean, I don't think Gen.G have a problem converting on these gun rounds. It's when we start to get to the middle of the half, how do Envy start to stack up once they have an economy to boot as well? That is what we have to pay attention to. But the one thing I want to highlight is that Gen.G were feeding ult orbs to MkaeL from the start. The fact that he had a round 3 Hunter's Fury is because Gen.G made it happen. Because they kept focus. That first round, they rushed the B main ult orb so that MkaeL could grab it, they could dip, they could go towards the A site, whatever. But they set that up, and it worked out for them beautifully.
Now that the Hunter's Fury is not an option, and now that Envy's going to have plenty of guns to boot as well, we'll see how Gen.G decide to play this. Couple smokes, a little bit of something being shown across mid. It looks like Food could play this aggressively as he's sitting in the smoke. He does have a flash, but there's not going to be anybody on the other side. Envy stay patient.
I'm surprised that there's a lack of ult or pressure here from Envy. Like, the fact that Food is one away from a run it back, they're relying on him to get kills. If you can guarantee a run it back, you might as well go fight for it. That camera does spot out. I believe that was a camera, right? That spotted them out. Yeah, so Gen.G, they may leave a couple of members there and then work their way up to the middle. We saw that last round with the A site. They held in A main, and then they pushed to the catwalk, but they didn't really need to because the Hunter's Fury did so much damage and help them push in. They may do a late round B hit anyways, but they're starting to pull off. We'll see where they end up going.
Simo, look at the discipline out of Envy. They just spotted 2 members over on B site. They did not move a single piece of the puzzle. They left everything exactly where it was so that they would not overload. I'm really impressed with Envy's patience here, but player one manages to get over onto A, and it looks like the rest of Gen.G is going to follow. First blood of the round in favor of Gen.G, but of course it's traded right back out.
I like how they're playing this. They're pushing in towards the true room. They only find a trade though, and now it's the 3v3 Gen.G. They've got site control when playing close towards the site itself, and now they'll start to come in towards the top. I like Finesse. He's always that late round lurk that you need, and now he's going to start to make his way from A main itself. So now 3v3, time is ticking, spike is ticking. They've got angles set up. They're looking towards the tree room, but I don't think they anticipate Finesse coming in from the long side. We'll see now as they're waiting for those seconds to tick ever so slightly. They're starting to push in. They've got a player coming up. They'll trade 1-for-1 down to the 2v2. If they want to defuse the spike, they need to get involved. Down to crashies. Gen.G have held down the site down to the 1v1. Playing behind the box. crashies trying to escape. Gen.G, they hold on, break open onto the site, and they tie us up 2-2.
And MkaeL was the linchpin there that kept the round alive for Gen.G, and he did so with 21 health, right? Like, Wind dashes back over towards A main. He's unfortunately taken out by FNS, but it was, it was MkaeL able to get that kill, right, over off of Heaven that kept that round alive. That was such a big play by him, and then for him to be able to buy time, force Envy essentially into a situation where they're like, well, crap, we're not going to be able to get this defused. Let's see if we can keep the gun. No, he got taken out there as well. Just so well played by Gen.G there.
So we've been going tit for tat. Gen.G convert onto that second round. Important for them considering, as I highlighted earlier, this defense important for both sides. For Envy, they want to lay on as many rounds as possible. Considering Gen.G have been able to convert twice in a row, it still was expensive. Everyone had died in that round, but Envy, they've got a lot of ultimates on the table here. We'll see if they commit the Hunter's Fury or the Run It Back to try to find some picks, make it expensive for Gen.G because they are on the eco round here. You want to try to commit those ults on rounds that you want to secure the win on. So I don't maybe presume we'll see them here, but they've got them stacked up for the round to follow.
Revealing area.
Again, this is a very good map for both of these squads. 5-0 for Gen.G this tournament, 4-1 for Envy on this tournament. Both of them show extreme proficiency on the defending side. A 75.5% win rate for Envy, 71.4 for Gen.G. As MkaeL is able to get first blood, it looks like they're going to try to push in through mid. Shawn's able to get one. That should open things up as huynh gets in on the action as well. MkaeL with 15 health left, but Gen.G with the personnel. Food holding this tight angle with the Sheriff and 26 health. It's a tough situation. You mentioned they're not going to have a ton of guns to work with. And, well, when you're going up against an operator at the hands of huynh, that's a tough call no matter what.
Yeah, I don't really anticipate this being a great round for Envy. At least it starts off quite hot. We'll see how much more he can find. Okay, things are starting to heat up. Finds one more. Oh, goodness gracious! Kaboose with the 3K. Definitely makes it expensive, and that's going to hurt for Gen.G as well. Yeah, the teabags are fine. I get it. You're confident. You're happy. The fact that Envy were able to take away 3 weapons from that round is crucial because they can now convert into 1 round, 2 rounds, 3 rounds. The economy's still looking fine for Gen.G, but once you reset that loss bonus, it's going to start to hurt.
Right, and you can't afford a situation like that 2 times in a row, right? Like, you can probably eat it now, but look, Shawn's down to 400 credits. Player 1 doesn't have a ton to work with either, so you can't afford to have that happen time and time again. Gen.G does have a ton of ultimates to work with, and Envy does as well. So I imagine full guns, full ultimates, this round is going to be spicy.
And if they commit all of that as well, it's important to note that the rounds to follow are going to definitely hurt for either side that loses with all of that commitment with those ultimates. So Food going to use the Run It Back. That's an ultimate out of the hands here. And an ultimate into the hands of Gen.G. They started with 4 on the round, but player 1 will find that neural theft now, or I believe it was the ult that they might have picked up to find that last one. So Gen.G just as eager to secure this round, especially with Shawn finding an early pick through the smoke. That's got to hurt here for Envy.
No more.
It's interesting, again, with the numbers advantage over on A. Obviously, they don't know that, but Gen.G is starting to back off a little bit, knowing that the Run It Back came through from Food from B. They're starting to pull back, and now it looks like they're going to want to play around mid. Again, they still have a ton of ultimates to work with. They still have plenty of options here.
Holy smokes, it's a spicy cyber game.
30 seconds left.
Like, hops on over, throws it right over the buildings. That's amazing. So they use the ultimate there from Gen.G to try to gather information on the A site. Envy read this correctly. They're prepared, but not prepared enough. Shawn finding the early pick, down to 3. That's mummAy with the collapse, baby. Finds 2. Food converts down to 2 players.
10 seconds left.
They gotta get on the site and plant that spike. huynh finds a pick there onto Food. 5 seconds remaining. They don't have time to plant. Yeah, they're gonna try though, but they plant not at the default plant spot. To get it down to the 2v2. Knives are out here from huynh, but he can't convert into a frag. Down to the 2v2 still, as Envy now are forced into the retakes. Of course, the smoke is going to go up. Owl Drone going to spot out huynh temporarily, but now mummAy's got an op of his own. If huynh peeks out of the door there, he will find himself in a little bit of a deadly situation. That's the trade. Now it's down to the 1v1. They don't know where he is. There's the TP for mummAy. He's going to get himself into a little bit of a different situation. Grabs the Vandal, but huynh got those knives ready. Going to get it to half here. Starting to come through. Down to 1v1. Classic in hand, but mummAy will find the shot, find the frag, and find the tie here. 3-3. Envy now win a round.
What a play by mummAy for him to get it to halftime in his own smoke and then pull off, knowing that he was likely going to get challenged, just caused fits for huynh there. And the problem was he had an had an operator and a classic. So what? And he had his Blade Storm as well, but guessing kind of on where he could go, probably should have been pinged out, and knowing that he was sticking it maybe deal a little bit more damage there. But either way, mummAy got it to half. mummAy was able to then pull off and get that huge 1v1 win through the smoke. mummAy, that's huge at 7-5, and he's bringing an op into this round.
I feel like I caster cursed him. I was like, you know what? They're going to swap roles. mummAy is going to be on the Omen. You've got Food on the Phoenix. He's going to frag out. He's on a duelist. mummAy's on a controller. It's going to be fine. No, he just decides to pop off instead. He still has the op in hand, which is very interesting. Still having that op on the Omen. It's not something that you normally see Omen players with those operators. So the fact that he's able to do some damage with it, especially on that round previous, is an exciting sight to see. We're seeing an excitement here from Gen.G as they're using the Hunter's Fury to clear out the tree room, but they are a little bit unsuccessful. Envy very comfortable in playing the retake, but kaboose tries to get involved. He's going to fall to player one as they get complete control of the side here for Gen.G.
Yeah, Gen.G was able to just funnel their way in. Now Envy is going to have resources coming in from a number of different angles. So this retake, while heavily outnumbered, is not out of the realms of possible. crashies trying to get some info. He knows at least that much, that there was somebody close enough to take care of his dart. But Envy look like they're just kind of going to huddle around mid, save whatever guns they have to go into the next round. Gen.G are going to take the lead.
The fact that Gen.G has had the economic advantage ever since those guns came into their hands at round 3 really is a scary sight for Envy. We talked a little bit about this defensive half being very important to them. Their attack win percentage is less than the defensive win percentage. And so for this, it means that they need to lay on these rounds early if they want to have a successful map too. For Gen.G, the economy's fine. They just had the loss bonus. But yeah, I'm going to reset it with a victory. And I'm going to get 3 credits here. You're going to go back down to 1900. Somehow food. No, that's such a critical error. He's grabbing a quick slice from the pizza shop, but the spike explodes, gets his tail end, and that's going to be a gun out of the hands.
All right, mummAy's still going to have the op, but the rest of the artillery from the side of Envy is going to be eager at best. We see a couple of frenzies, a sheriff, certainly not what they would like to bring into this thing. And then on the side of Gen.G, I mean, like you said, Simo, they've got money, they've got guns for days, they can do whatever the heck they want. They also have the lead, and it looks like they're going to be hitting a hit onto B. We have not seen a hot and heavy hit that way. Generally, PL1 just kind of plays around there. We saw him take care of the run it back from Food, I believe that was, on an ult in one of the previous rounds, but they have not fully invested that way, and, well, if it's worked up mid, why change it?
That's an unfortunate smoke as well for Envy. They try to deny that vision towards the courtyard. They even closed the door on the way out, but the fact that they have the Owl drone already pushing forward, it does not bode well. But now Envy is trying to get a little bit more involved as they start to push in towards the main. MkaeL holds fast, holds him down, and it does look like Envy will at least find one here with kaboose down to the 3v4. Spike will be planted. Envy on this eco round are still interested in trying to bring the issue over to Gen.G.
Well, they're on an eco. They don't have much to lose. You can argue maybe they pick up a couple of weapons on the way. Well, there's only one from Gen.G that's even available. Shawn is able to take out a finesse, and he bunny hops his way across the site, gets info, and manages to get away with his life. So what they want to do is take away mummAy's op, but Shawn is not able to do so. mummAy gives him the business right in the jaw and takes him out. Gen.G's just down to 3 members left, and worth noting that MkaeL is weak. mummAy does it again, a straight-up 2v2. Gen.G might win the round, but Envy made it costly.
You know, moving into this tournament with the addition of Food and crashes, you anticipated just additional firepower there to support mummAy. mummAy's having a phenomenal series here against Gen.G, leading at the top of the charts for that previous game, and now leading for Envy here as well. Gen.G have got to find a way to deal with him. So far, these A-site hits have been relatively fine. Like, mummAy hasn't really been a huge problem, but it's in those late round retakes that mummAy really starts to come online, and especially when they're looking for exits, guess who you want there leading with the op? You want it to be mummAy. So finding those picks, very crucial like you highlighted, but as I highlighted in the round previous, Gen.G aren't really worse for wear. Like, their economy's fine. They can probably coast for the rest of the half too, and they'll be fine as well. There's only 4 rounds remaining, and a couple of members are above 6,000 credits, so they're not really in a tough spot. Envy, however, are, and they need to do something fast, and it starts with this round here.
Can the operator in the hands of mummAy make a difference prior to the round essentially being determined. kaboose is going to have a perfect angle. He spots one go through, did not see the rest of them, but you assume that based off the gunfire, people have followed. kaboose is still sitting here. He has not swung. He's so patient. All right, there he goes. He spots one. He's right behind huynh. He's going to see everything. He's able to get one. Give him a second. Looking for a third. He's going to reposition, and it's actually mummAy who gets the third. huynh going to trade it back out. kaboose is still there, and Envy ripped Gen.G apart. The flank out of kaboose was absolutely debilitating for Gen.G.
That's insane. The fact that he got into that position, Gen.G didn't check. I don't know if they reconned it or owl droned it, or if they could have put down the shock dart to clear out that angle. But the fact that it goes unchecked, it's cheeky. I'll give you that. It's cheeky. But Envy needed a cheeky play, a conditioned play, because Envy, to be fair, have been playing very passive on the sites. They'll play relatively far back. They won't play close. And this time, once again, we're seeing a little bit more passive play towards the A side, but for the first time, aggression towards the catwalk, which once again, Gen.G aren't conditioned to. They're conditioned to Envy playing passive, maybe aggressive towards B main, but the A side has always been relatively free to walk into. So for kaboose to get into that corner, it's a very special site here for Envy. They needed that round.
Take flight.
They did. You mentioned it needed to be something cheeky, and cheeky was exactly what the doctor ordered for Envy there. You mentioned there weren't a ton of rounds left in this half either, and how desperately Envy needed to get on board here and try to get something going. Well, they were able to do so. Now the question is, can they continue that success? Last time it was kaboose who had an angle. This time it's FNS. And FNS is able to get one. Give him a second as well. Is again a sucker punch from these guys that's just causing fits for Gen.G.
They still are able to at least trade it out blow for blow. A lot of utility was spent there in the courtyard, but now they at least will have the spike and will likely look towards this A side. But once again, kaboose, baby, what are you doing? You in the position, and Gen.G, we'll see if they snuff this out or if they're going to go through the old-fashioned way up the catwalk through the tree room. kaboose will be in a great position to flank back towards the A side. On the flip side, you've got these late-round players, crashies, mummAy, and kaboose. If I'm Gen.G, I'm holding fast.
Shawn has the Empress available, but he is certainly worse for wear. About 40% health. The clock is going down as well. They're going to have to get the spike down soon. Now they know. Actually, he tapped it. He has not put that thing down, but he's going to have to do so now. But the problem is he's running out of time. It looks like they're just going to have to play for frags, and Envy just gets the heck out of dodge. They don't have to fight that. crashies gets one anyway. Envy knotted up at 5.
Let's see if mummAy wants this. Yes, he does. Finds the frag there on player one with a quick side peek. Very well executed by Envy, and I think there was something a little bit more desired from Gen.G. A little bit of indecisiveness in planting the spike. I'd imagine the communication might have been, you know, I hear movement. I hear somebody coming up towards the heaven side. You know, we don't have a visual on the archway leading into the site. Player one had a great crossfire, and he was able to deal with kaboose, but it's the rest of the team that could not defend Shawn, and time just ran out. So a very good round here for Envy. Could still likely see a positive half from them, but it should have been a little bit more positive considering the win rate on the defense.
And if you're Gen.G, you hate that, right? Like, you're on site, you have a numbers advantage, you're there, and just not able to get the spike down in time. You wonder if that kind of feels like a fumbled round. If you're Gen.G, would love to take a listen to the comms. Unfortunately, not something we have access to, but either way, as mentioned previously, we're tied up at 5. Gen.G looking to work their way up catwalk this time. Here the blade storm has been used. FNS is going to get pushed away, and he's going to get taken out at the hands of the Singer. You see huynh has dashed all the way in, trying to dice him up, but kaboose is able to take him out. You hear the Nerf Theft has been used as well. It's a straight up 4v4 for this site.
Yeah, but guess who's on the site? It's mummAy, somebody that you don't want in there. They're going to be going up and over, but you can't put through with mummAy, and kaboose are holding things down. The company will be able to dispatch them accordingly. Guimond, believe, ulted towards the B site, but he did not have the spike in hand. Could have been a late round call. He is, in fact,
30 seconds
the
left.
in-game leader for Gen.G here, so for him to move on over might be just to save the weapon. We're moving into the last round of regulation for this half, coming up in the round next, but Envy have really started to come alive as Gen.G really got off to a hot start. Yeah, the pistol was won by Envy. Yeah, the second round conversion was fine. Gen.G really were able to string 5 rounds together over the course of 6 quite handily, as Envy have now finally found their mojo.
And the thing is, even on the losses, even on the lost rounds for Envy, it was mummAy, right? Like mummAy getting those late round picks on the exits and just causing problems for Gen.G time and time again. mummAy has been able to get Envy back into this thing. Now they find themselves at a 1-round lead, and guess what? He still has the up. He's probably, I think, obviously I don't have these stats, I wish I did, but I'm pretty sure he's put up like 6 kills, 7 kills in just the last 3 rounds. The guy is out of his mind right now.
Yeah, moving into, like I said before, moving into this this entire tournament, this entire open qualifier, you'd think Food and crashies would really pack a punch, and they do. And considering Food has slightly better stats statistically than mummAy, he's really kind of come into his own despite being this Omen player, which you don't normally see. Once again, he's in a great position to deny Gen.G as they have this late round, early round orb grab. They managed to give the orb over to somebody. I believe it might have been either Shawn or MkaeL. They really like that Hunter's Fury, but what really comes into the hands of Gen.G is ripped right out by Envy. mummAy finding an early pick, not looking so good here for Gen.G.
Gen.G at a numbers disadvantage in the last round of the half. Surely they want to try to knot this thing up at 6. You see the From the Shadows used from Envy to try to get some info, and he got shot out as soon as he started to channel that thing. So they have a good idea of where things are going to be. You see that the Cypher on the side of Envy, FNS, is starting to rotate over, as that seems to be where the hit is going to be. Gen.G working their way up through B main. Have not pulled the trigger yet, but it is inevitable. You see the blinds and the smokes have been used as well as Envy tries to hunker down on the back of the site. Now the resources, the reinforcements from Envy start to rotate over, but Gen.G should be able to get onto the site anyway, at least for now. But crashies, again, in the back is able to get one. Kumon trades it back out. It's just going to be a straight-up 3v3. Now the reinforcements, now the cavalry has arrived, and Gen.G finally are able to get the spike down. Simo, a 3v2 for the site. Envy's just down to 1, and it's kaboose. No mummAy, no operator. Round win for Gen.G.
And we tie us up here 6-6. Not a half I expected from Envy. For Gen.G, this is a great site to move it on to that third map. As we have a look at some of the highlights here from the half. Go Puff instant replay. We'll see how things, of course, unfolded. And to be fair, Gen.G really just was feeling super comfortable. Envy, like we highlighted in some of these late round scenarios, were able to make it hurt for Gen.G, but it still felt like in the rounds that were won by Gen.G, they were in control to some extent, and we saw that in that last and final round. Envy could not get that retake going. They were trying to retake while the site was being involved, but this play right here really put Envy back into the game as a big confidence booster. And we'll imagine for 1 second that the statistics for the half for Envy, that they do favor the defense, same as Gen.G, you'd imagine that confidence booster could still be a factor in making this a clean 2-0.
Envy heavily investing over on A. Player 1 is smoked out over in True Room, but he is able to get one thanks to the dart. And the intel dart and the shock dart for MkaeL proving to be exactly what Gen.G needed. Envy are just down to 3 members left. crashies is going to be able to get the spike down, but the reinforcements from Gen.G begin to rotate over. They have the personnel. They should be able to retake this site, but nothing is ever secure in a round of Valorant.
Oh, finesse. Oh, you spicy lad. He decides to get a little funky with it. He does get taken down by Shawn. Down the run. It should be a pretty clean take. They'll trade 1-for-1 down to 1. Final player was mummAy in the middle, in the center of the site. Gen.G start off with a pistol. And that's going to put them potentially here at 8-6. Really have a great start to the half, considering it was a 6-6 score line for the first. It does feel like, to a certain extent, we're kind of reset, but Gen.G are now on the favorable half and only really need a couple of rounds strung together to really close this one out.
That was also Gen.G's first pistol win, Simo. In this entire series, Envy has won every single one, and they win the one afterwards as well. So if you start to think about how that adds up throughout an entire series, it's so important that Gen.G is able to get that one. But they've got to win this one. They've got to win the following round, and Envy forced up a bit. I saw a couple of stingers, so it looks like they're investing here. They're buying.
And they want to get off to a great start, considering the repercussions of this half. Gen.G and Envy both boasting a very comfortable win rate on the defensive side of Ascent. The attack is still there, but it's much better on the defense. Dude is going to start off here with an early pick, and that is important to note. Gen.G trying to hold on, but the spike's already been planted, and now they're forced to retake. Not everyone is able to get those fresh new Jordans on the first day of school. We do see crashies with a ghost. Did not partake in buying some of those expensive items, and we'll see now how Envy hold on to this site take with the man advantage.
Gen.G slowly starting to work their way in. And it looks like they have a decent idea of where some of the members of Envy are, and they're just getting mowed down. Food was able to get one. It looks like the gamble to buy up is certainly paying off. crashies gets up close and personal, but it's Shawn who's able to win that out. Win gets one as well. Gen.G's just down to 2 members left. The spike continues to tick, and it may not have been pretty. It may have been off of a gamble, but the force pays off. Envy steal around from Gen.G.
Yeah, and Gen.G are still trying to make it expensive. That's why they were holding down to those exits, but in fact, they themselves make it expensive for them. So now we're in a little bit of an awkward situation. That was a round that Envy needed to catapult their economy a little bit over their opposition, Gen.G, who are now down to a little bit of a lighter buy. But I think considering the circumstance of the defense attack percentage, the win percentage, Gen.G are more than comfortable of going down to the softer buy here, or rather not buying anything at all. And Envy could lay it on around. It could put us up to 8-7, but still the economy's in a weird spot. Both teams have reset each other's loss bonuses now, the 1-for-1, and so Gen.G may need a little bit more to chew on if they want to have some guns in the rounds upcoming.
See that camera out of FNS. You can see if anybody's going to play aggressively on the side of Gen.G. Nobody's home. Nobody's going to be rotating over, and Envy take that as a cue to start working their way at mid, but Shawn is going to get a crack. Shawn's going to get cracked as Fu takes him out. crashies gets in on the action as well. Gen.G down to 3.
Yeah, not a round we not a round we suspect Gen.G to really come out wiser here. Envy, obviously great in those late round scenarios on their defensive rounds. We'll see if Gen.G have that ability as well. With the guns in the store, I don't think it'll be exactly what they had hoped for. Out on one final player, Imo. He will fall. Pretty standard round here for Envy. This is the round, though, upcoming that I'm really looking at how Gen.G play. They've got an incredible weapon advantage moving into this one. We'll see now as Envy have won 2 rounds in a row. They're looking to save as much as they can. If they can close this one out, you can make a compelling case that Envy can actually close this one out 2-0. They'll be put up 9-7. Gen.G will not have the economy for another round, which could put us at 10-7. Envy will be inching ever so close to closing the series. So this is actually a very important round for Gen.G to continue this back and forth into the previous half.
Well, and then to add to that, if Envy's able to pull this off, it's not just the lead that they're going to have from rounds, but they're also going to be so well off financially that it is really difficult for Gen.G to pull something off. We'll see if they're going to be able to fend off the assault, the aggressive push that's coming out of Envy onto that A site. You hear the run back was used by Food. He got tagged up a little bit, not able to deal any damage, but some information was gained. Player 1 sitting down in hell, looking over that site, was able to get 1 as crashies gets dropped. 4 left on the side of Gen.G, and of course, as I say that, it gets traded out, but Win's able to win a very important kill. Player gets 1 as well. Player 1, excuse me, gets 1 as well. Gen.G respond.
That was a little bit of a tough round for Envy to push in. Gen.G were in the perfect spots there, anticipating the push on towards that A site. They also had members rotate over at the exact perfect time. And for Envy, I mean, they got boots on the ground, but there was just a lot of utility where Gen.G were able to play around it exceptionally well, particularly looking at some of the closer angles that were played. It all started with a pick down from hell from player 1, and he held that spot quite well for the rest of Gen.G to have the confidence to push onto the site, knowing they've already got boots on the ground as well. So for Envy, a tough round to win, but now this is the gun versus gun round. The winner of this will really decide the tempo of the half.
MkaeL seeing if he can spot anyone through that wall. No info gained. Dropped a couple anyway, just to scare him away, a few warning shots. And again, you don't have to get info, you don't have to get kills. Having a Sova there with that weapon forces the attacking side to go elsewhere.
Cage triggered. Take flight.
Like how Gen.G anticipating heavier presence towards the A site. We have Empress for Empress pop the spray through the wall, but it's a spray through the dome from player 1 as it sprays away. Shawn is ready. He's trying to spray through, but it's Empress for Empress traded away. Envy with the man advantage, but it's quickly nullified. Down to just 53. Food just trying to get a little bit of food for his own stomach to heal back up to full. As now they'll have control of the site, spike down, Gen.G in the retake.
There is the Hunter's Fury on the side of Envy, so keep that in mind. mummAy is able to punish Huynh for going aggressive there as he's able to get one through the smoke. Gen.G just down to 2 members left, and unfortunately, the Omen is certainly worse for wear. It looks like Gen.G is just going to back off. Envy should be able to take a 1-round lead here. The question is, can Gen.G keep their weapons?
That seems to be the name of the game, mummAy! Holy smokes, MkaeL! Now the last one standing, trying to break through. And now he's down to 46 HP. We talk about these 1v many scenarios. MkaeL definitely does not win those. And as you see, mummAy will take him down. As he's trying to hide in the fruit market, grab a couple of peaches into that next round. But Gen.G, looking at the economy, not everyone's really in a good spot. So it's going to be a decent enough spot to soft buy here. We're looking at a couple of stingers. And some heavy armor in some of the members, so it's not looking horrible. They can at least, you know, it's not just pistols. They're at least bringing something. But this is a great opportunity for Envy to really punch back and take a 2-round lead. They desperately need this on the attack.
Simo, I love the confidence, the cojones, quite frankly, with which Envy has played this. Just look at how they ended that last round. They knew that they had the round in the bag. They knew that the spike was down, and that was not enough. They asked themselves, yeah, we got this, but can we get more? We want more. And that's exactly what they did. They hunt down the last 2 kills. Envy is just playing with a swagger right now that Gen.G has not been able to respond against.
Okay, relax, Reyna. Okay, relax. Take a step back. I know you want more. I get it. I understand. But you got to chill out here, okay?
It is a good song. I mean,
yes.
Come on.
Yes.
You love the song.
Okay.
I know you do.
No, doesn't Reyna say more or something like that when she like?
Yes, that too. Yes.
Yes, that's okay. Look, I'm not talking about KDA here. I'm talking about Valorant. I'm talking about good old Valorant. Speaking of that, crashies going to lead the charge, finds an early pick, looking for that recon bolt, but Huynh actually with a cheeky updraft. I don't think he was able to convert on anything, even if he had wanted to. Spike now being planted. Gen.G in a very uncomfortable retake, looking at the positioning. Food down towards the catwalk. If they go through the courtyard, Food's going to be ready here. 1 more point as well for the run it back. To make it very expensive. 1 peek through. His position has been given away. He's got to back up to the rest of his team.
It's a tall order. It's a tough ask. But Gen.G, for their tournament lives, really need to convert, need to do something here on this round. But they can't even get close. And once again, Envy start to hunt. They know that they're going to get the round. They know the spike's going to go off, and they see what they can take with it. It's just been so impressive out of Envy, Simo.
Here.
I mean, Gen.G is on the hunt. Envy are just trying to survive. Gen.G are waiting on the opposite side of the catwalk. They've been smoked off. If Envy really wanted to hunt, they would have walked into that courtyard with open arms. They did not want to lose a single weapon, and I mean, rightfully so. They're sitting pretty. On the opposite side is Gen.G. Once again, an important round at stake here. To be honest, to some extent, a deciding round for, once again, the continuing tempo of Envy. If they can stop this momentum buildup from Envy, a half I did not expect for them to really hop off to a great attacking side. They're not doing too bad. That second round force up really toppled Gen.G down, and now they're a little bit trying to catch up to a certain extent. No longer is there a safety net that they can fall back on as they push on.
Huynh does have an op, but he's going aggressively. Pressure has been using crashies. He's able to take care of Guman as he continues to struggle. MkaeL is able to get 1, however, as Envy get onto the site. It looks like they're going to be able to get the spike down with relative ease as well. Gen.G once again outgunned, outnumbered, and an uncomfortable situation.
Yeah, they broke open onto that side effectively, and Gen.G, you know, you look at Guman, he was trying to put himself in a position to get a fat paranoia. The only thing that was fat was this bloated dead body on the ground after they were managed to swing back onto him. That paranoia, unfortunately, unsuccessful. Gen.G now in a little bit of an exit scenario. They don't really care about the mix. They don't really care about mummAy. Holy smokes down to Shawn. If there's anyone I want in these clutch scenarios, it's him, but unfortunately the click runs dry as the Sahara Desert, but it gets re-energized. Shawn with 1. Now going to be starting to push in. He's trying to find frags. There's 1 time escape. There's the shot. down to the 1v1. Shawn, holy smoke! Now food takes them down, but they have already done the damage. Shawn bringing it down to all players dead as they're just trying to topple that economy. But look at that, mummAy at 9,000, food at 9,000. You did your darndest, but now you yourself are on the eco.
They've got dollars for days. I mean, Envy, even in that situation, given all the heroics of Shawn, still can buy whatever the heck they want. Simo, Envy has played this second half so well. They've managed their money so well. They've saved early. They invested in the future, and take a look. It's paying off. Again, Gen.G is not going to have a ton to work with here. This has just been a brutal half, really a brutal series for Gen.G.
You sound like you make it sound like Envy is a company of a pyramid scheme. You know, you save now, invest in the future. I promise you, the ROI is insane. We're gonna take trips to Vegas. We're gonna take trips to Cancun. It's gonna be beautiful. Like you're making it sound like Envy's a pyramid scheme company. But I get what you're saying. Envy, that force up on round 2 really put themselves in a good spot. They were able to convert on that third round. And the rounds to follow. But now we're looking at this round. Who leading? Running back, hoping for a pick.
Oh
and
my
he finds it. And he finds it.
All right, let's take a look and see what else Envy's able to do. crashies has used the Hunter's Fury. Player 1 is able to take care of kaboose, drop things down to a 4v4. The spike is actually not anywhere near A. Excuse me. It was just kerfuffle that was raised over on that side of the site as Envy tried to work their way at mid, and they're going to get onto that B site. The reinforcements from Gen.G are going to be coming from the defending side. Can MkaeL get anything through the smoke? No, there's nobody there. As Envy gets onto the site, they're going to get the spike down as well. Once again, Gen.G have to fight for a retake.
We have to remind ourselves that this is a little bit of an eco round here for Gen.G. And Odin and a couple of pistols is all they have to work with. If they're able to convert... Oh, wait, never mind. They forced up. Oh. Ooh, this is a little rough. So they definitely want to attack here, because if they lose this round, they'll definitely be down to an uncomfortable position, and Envy will just continue to catapult round after round. But look at this late round positioning here for crashies. He's going to be able to push in the smoke there. Sorry, the Molotov on the ground, a little bit tough to push through, but they push through nonetheless. Paranoia on the back of the site, but it's crashies from behind. He was hiding by the pizza shop, taking a quick slice, and he'll take a quick slice out of Gen.G as Envy are on map point and series point.
Envy have perfected on this map in particular. It seems that they've perfected the art of hanging out in a cheeky corner, waiting. Seemingly nobody checks those 50s, and then they absolutely obliterate them. I believe that's the third time we've seen that out of Envy, Simo, and Gen.G have continued to get punished by that. Now they find themselves facing tournament elimination. Yes, they have qualified for the main broadcast later on, but this is for seeding. This is for insanely important seeding. I was having a conversation with the GM of one of the 4 teams that are playing here today, earlier, and yes, the teams understand that this is technically just for seeding, but seeding is so important. Forget about playing through the UMG qualifier. Get it here, get it now, knowing that you can prep for 2-3 additional weeks. This is so important for all of these teams.
Well, what's important is Gen.G have started off with 2 early picks, which bodes well for them. Envy will have to see what they can do with their small militia here, 300 up against the strong Persian army here of Gen.G. We'll see if they can hold down with Leonidas. But they get a lot of space here, pushing in towards the defender spawn. See what that angle looks like. mummAy definitely has got a juicy angle as he finds Shawn. An important factor to note is out of position, but they're dividing and they're conquering. Unfortunately, they got to worry about huynh. He finds the transfer there, but it's a 2v3 with mummAy and crashies. Very doable here. Recon bolt into hell. It's shot out. So they know that there's a player playing down. The stock bolt's going to push him out. He takes the damage. He takes the paranoia. Very beautiful execution. And now it's a 2v2. You did not expect this round to unfold this way.
Certainly not. And the problem is for Gen.G, mummAy's still alive, and mummAy has like 35,000 kills or something insane like that. The guy's just been out of control this entire map. So it's already a difficult situation. Then you factor in that, and it's things don't look good for Gen.G. But if there was ever a time for heroics, if there was ever a time for miracles, it's now to extend this series, to push it to Game 3, and to not get eliminated. I love how patiently Envy are playing this. They're just going to be playing off of the site. They know exactly where the spike has been planted to, so they can peek and fire into exactly through the smoke where the spike is going to be. MkaeL tapped it and then forced to back off. Player one gets taken out. They're shunning. They're going for him, but mummAy takes him out. mummAy once again with the 4K eliminate Gen.G from the tournament.
mummAy needs a raise. Astro, if you listen to this,
Pay the man.
I know you're watching. I know you're listening, man. I know the CEO, the owner of the team. I know you watching. I know you watching. The man needs a bump up in that salary.